Right, it started 14 years ago when I gave birth to my second child. Wasn't too bad then. By the time I gave birth to my third child, who's nearly 10 now, during birth I felt like my back had broken in two. So something happened during birth there, and that was the final straw. And had physiotherapy after giving birth. That kind of set me alright on and off for the next 9 years, although I still had a lot of problems. Over the years it got worse because there was no structure around the back. So I wasn't getting better, it was getting worse gradually over the years, wear and tear. And then I moved to Portugal. Still not too bad at this point, but on and off it would stop me from, I could be on flat for a week during, periodically over this time. But yes, it definitely got worse, where I wouldn't be able to stand for too long, laying in bed for too long, sitting for too long. It had to be constantly having to move and change, and and then when I moved to Portugal, we went for a simple walk along the beach. For a very long walk along the beach, but we was at an angle walking, so that put my back out and I couldn't move at all. There was nothing I could do but take painkillers at this stage. Hadn't heard of Douglas by then. And we moved back to England, and I was 37, which is far too young not to be able to do anything and live a normal life. And I did become very depressed because I couldn't even do simple housework. And the depression gets you so much that, I wanted to cry because I wasn't normal. I couldn't make a bed without crying. That I couldn't even do that, something simple. I couldn't do anything with the children. You just couldn't do anything. I can't explain or describe the depression when you know that you're should be a young, healthy young girl, and I couldn't do anything because of my back, and it was affecting my whole life, not just a part of it, my whole life. And I couldn't see where I was ever going to come out of this. I couldn't see any light. Doctors weren't really helping me. When I went to the UK to the doctors, he advised me to go to a chiropractor, which I did, and like I say, 5 months and £500 later, and you're not feeling any better. In fact, you're feeling worse. And my quality of life had gradually got even worse over them 5 months. You begin to lose faith. We returned to Portugal in the January, and by chance we was in a wellness centre where there was a leaflet on the side, and it was for an evening with Douglas Ballard.
I'd planned the evening with 6 people coming onto the stage for healing, and then we'd have the break, and then 6 people coming up for channeled information.
I thought it was an evening of clairvoyance, but it actually said healing and clairvoyance, but we only actually went along for the clairvoyance, but I didn't get clairvoyance, we got healing. I had my eyes closed and Douglas had his hands on my head, and I was quite normal, talking to yourself as you do, and I thought, I don't feel anything. When he says, what do you feel? What can I say? But I didn't need to worry about that, because when Douglas did finally say, what do you feel like? I think I was so slow to react and so disorientated, it was visible. She
was not looking too good when she came up, and I gave her the treatment, which it was very interesting because the energy that went in was quite excessive. So it was necessary for me to balance her after the treatment.
Then when he asked me for the second time, how do you feel? I still, in all honesty, felt very dizzy, but was far too embarrassed to say anything, so I pretended I was alright. So then when I had to walk back to the audience in front of everybody, I felt extremely dizzy and drunk, and I think it showed when I walked back to the audience that I couldn't even walk straight. Everybody I knew that was in the audience that seen me, there was about 5 of them, all could see that I wasn't myself. And I think that really, that was what made me go for healing in the long run, because it wasn't in my imagination, because if it had been in my imagination, I would have expected to feel warmth like everybody else.
Then she had a few private sessions with me, and I would say that wasn't many. only to say that today we're sitting here 18 months later, and here is a lady who has recovered remarkably well with now no pain, just general back pain, which I would say would come by anybody that overdoes it.
As a result of my treatment with Douglas, I now own and run a busy bar in Portugal, and I'm on my feet for hours and hours, sometimes 16 hours a day, which I would never have been able to do ever without this. I go to the gym now regularly. I still have to be a little bit careful, you know, but I can live a proper normal life. It's not compromised at all. I can lift things and make beds and hoover, all sorts of things, everything that I couldn't do before. So yes, my life has drastically changed since having the treatment, definitely. And sometimes it's very easy to forget that I was once so ill because I'm so well now. It's very easy to forget that until you're down.